Scorpio, stop scrolling. This message is finding you for a reason, and it's happening this weekend. The pain they caused you, the betrayal you stayed silent about, the injustice you never explained to anyone. God saw all of it, and now the balance is shifting. What they thought they got away with is about to turn back on them quietly, powerfully, and in a way they never expected. Scorpio, your silence was not weakness. It was a test of faith. Stay with me, because what unfolds next will reveal why you had to suffer and how divine justice is about to work in your favor. Scorpio, you are not here by accident. This message is reaching you at a moment when your energy is shifting and something unseen is moving behind the scenes. You are one of the strongest signs of the Zodiac, yet you often carry your pain in silence. When you were hurt, misunderstood, or treated unfairly, you didn't seek revenge. You trusted God and kept walking. What many don't realize is that silence creates spiritual momentum. Right now, that momentum is building. This weekend marks a turning point where divine justice begins to speak on your behalf, and the story starts to change in your favor. What they did to you. Scorpio, let's talk about the pain you never explained to anyone. The moments when you were hurt deeply, yet chose silence over confrontation. Someone crossed a line with you. Whether through betrayal, disrespect, abandonment, or emotional manipulation, and they assumed you would react like everyone else. But you didn't. You held your ground quietly. You questioned yourself, you cried in private, and you carried the weight alone while the world saw your strength, not your struggle. They thought your silence meant you didn't care. They thought you were weak, unaware, or unaffected. What they never understood is that Scorpio feels everything at the deepest level. You saw the truth early, but instead of seeking revenge, you stepped back. You allowed them to walk away thinking they had won. That pain changed you. It forced you to mature, to detach, and to learn lessons you never asked for. What they caused was not small. It altered your trust, your emotions, and your view of people. But every tear you held back, every word you didn't say, was being recorded in the spiritual realm. Nothing was ignored. Why you didn't fight back, Scorpio? The reason you didn't fight back wasn't fear, it was awareness. Deep inside, you knew that reacting in anger would only drain your energy and delay your growth. While others lash out to feel powerful, you'll retreat to protect your soul. You understand something many people don't. Not every battle is meant to be fought by you. Some are meant to be handed over to God. You chose restraint when revenge was tempting. You chose distance when confrontation would have been easy. That decision wasn't weakness. It was discipline. Scorpio operates on a karmic level. You sense when justice doesn't need your hands to intervene. Instead of lowering yourself to their behavior, you stepped back and let life respond. What looked like you losing was actually you passing a spiritual test. You were being trained to trust divine timing, not emotional impulses. And because you didn't interfere, karma was given full permission to work without obstruction. This is why the outcome now carries more weight than anything you could have forced on your own. God saw everything. Scorpio, even when no one defended you, God was watching. Every moment you were tested, every tear you wiped away in silence. Every time you questioned why this was happening to you, none of it went unnoticed. Divine justice does not rush, but it is precise. When humans fail you, God steps in quietly and begins rearranging reality behind the scenes. You may not have seen movement, but things were shifting. Doors began closing for them while new understanding was forming for you. What they did set a spiritual process in motion, one that could not be reversed once it started. God allowed time to pass so lessons could deepen, so truth could surface, and so accountability would be undeniable. This is where the reversal begins, not through chaos, not through public drama, but through inner collapse and realization on their side. While you healed, they carried unresolved guilt. While you learned to let go, they became trapped in the consequences of their own actions. This weekend marks a turning point. Divine justice is no longer preparing. It is active, and once God decides, the scales must be balanced. Nothing can stop the outcome from unfolding exactly as it should. The reversal. What changes for them now? Scorpio, this is where the balance begins to shift in ways they never prepared for. The reversal doesn't arrive loudly or dramatically. It starts internally. The same confidence they once had begins to fade. The certainty they felt about their decisions starts to crack. Regret replaces arrogance, and questions replace excuses. They begin to feel what you felt: confusion, emotional weight, and the absence of peace. Situations that once worked in their favor stop flowing. People who supported them slowly disappear. The energy they took lightly now turns heavy. They may not admit it openly, but they recognize where they went wrong. Your silence becomes the loudest lesson they ever faced. What hurts them most is realizing that you moved forward without seeking revenge. You didn't chase closure. You didn't beg for understanding. You simply withdrew, and that absence forces reflection. This is not punishment driven by anger. It is correction driven by truth. While they are left facing consequences, you are no longer involved in the chaos. The universe ensures the lesson reaches them without pulling you back into the pain. That is the power of a true karmic reversal. How this reversal affects you, Scorpio. Scorpio, while everything is shifting for them, something powerful is happening within you. The weight you carried for so long begins to lift without you forcing it. You may notice a calm settling into your spirit. Not excitement, not revenge, but peace. The kind of peace that comes from knowing you were protected, even when it didn't feel that way. You start seeing the situation differently. What once felt like loss now looks like protection. What felt unfair now makes sense. You realize that if things had gone the way you wanted back then, you might have stayed stuck in pain that was never meant to be permanent. This reversal doesn't pull you backward, it pushes you forward. Your confidence returns quietly. Your intuition sharpens again. You feel less triggered by memories, less affected by their name, their actions, or their presence. That's how you know healing is real. You are no longer waiting for an apology or an explanation. This shift empowers you. You're not rising with anger. You're rising with clarity, and clarity gives you control over your next chapter without needing validation from the past. This weekend's guidance: what Scorpio must and must not do. Scorpio, this weekend is not about action. It's about restraint and awareness. You may feel tempted to reach out, to check on them, or to seek confirmation of what you already sense. Don't. This is the moment where silence continues to protect you. Let the universe complete what it has already started. Interference now would only slow the process that's working in your favor. What you must do instead is stay grounded. Protect your energy. Pay attention to your intuition, because it will be unusually clear. Signs, dreams, and sudden realizations may surface, not to confuse you, but to guide you. Rest more than usual. Observe rather than react. What you must not do is revisit old conversations, replay past arguments, or reopen emotional wounds. You've already outgrown that version of yourself. This weekend is about allowing closure without conversation. Trust this. When divine justice moves, it doesn't require your involvement. Your role is to stay aligned, calm, and open, because what's coming next is meant to elevate you, not pull you back into the past. Scorpio, this is your final reminder. Do not step in the way of karma once it begins to move. You don't need to explain your pain. You don't need to prove your truth. And you certainly don't need to reopen doors that God has already closed for your protection. What is unfolding now is bigger than emotions. It is alignment. The lesson they are receiving is not yours to manage. Your responsibility is to stay true to the growth you earned through suffering. If you feel distance, honor it. If you feel peace, trust it. That peace is your confirmation that justice is working exactly as it should. This is your blessing, Scorpio. May your heart remain calm, your intuition remain sharp, and your path remain clear. You are not being repaid with revenge. You are being rewarded with freedom, and that is the highest form of divine justice. If this message resonated with you, stay connected. What's ahead is brighter than what you survived.